Hi, everyone. Good afternoon, and welcome to my spiritual GPS. This is your host, Vivian S.D. Guzman, the #1 money magnet activator and human MRI. So, we know in life that we are born into this world and we're all somehow going to end and say bye-bye, right? But in the meantime, we're usually looking for our purpose in life, right? And there's such a thing as a GPS in our car, right? So we turn that on and we put the location and it takes us where we need to go. However, in a person's life, sometimes we're born into this world, but then we really don't know where we're going if we are not exposed to perhaps our soul purpose. And it's up to us to discover that. And in our path, sometimes we encounter all the different blocks and challenges and all these different experiences. Some are good, some are not so good. At the same time, how we interpret that is what happens to our lives, right? And so, how can we actually attract all the right people, all the right opportunities in our lives? Well, you've probably heard of the word intuition, but then some people are like afraid of what that is. Some people would say, oh my gosh, that is really not of God. Truly, you have to ask yourself if what you have tapped into, because it's our own gift. Everybody has it. And I have a very special guest today. Our guest today is Miss Alena Chapman. Welcome to the show, Miss Alena. She is our soul curator.
Hello, Vivian. I am so happy to be here. It's so good to talk to you again.
Yes,
Yeah,
we
really.
met in Utah, right? We had
Yep.
a mastermind, right, that we attended a few weeks ago. And
Very
let
funny.
me just say, well, personally, I just want to tell you guys that I'm not going to invite any guest here in this show if I don't know that that there's someone that who could really truly contribute to your soul well-being. So Elena, she did the drumming for us. It's like
Yeah,
a
the
journey, a
journey.
shamanic journey, and it was wonderful. Okay.
Thank
Uh,
you.
is it okay, Elena, I read your bio because,
Sure.
you're so famous, but people don't know you're famous, so we have to tell them who you are. So
Famous, but they don't know you're famous.
they don't know you're famous. So you're referred to many as a soul curator. Elena works her magic by wisely integrating the wisdom of various religions, spiritual modalities, and scientific research to bring clarity, ease, and flow, along with greater understanding to all. Because it's not really one is right, one is wrong. It
Mm-mm.
depends on everyone's orientation, right?
Right.
She's on a quest to help people everywhere heal and connect to their soul's purpose and experience abundance while on the journey. That sounds like fun. And she works with clients around the world to help them learn to heal themselves so they can identify what they really are here to achieve in life, right? From a
Exactly.
space of compassion, non judgment, and love. So I know you've been a guest of ABC, CBS, PBS, iHeartRadio. Oh my God, I feel so humbled. Law of Attraction Radio, and many conferences, interviews, and events, including with Les Brown and Bob Proctor and Elizabeth Gilbert.
Yeah.
A certified counselor with right relations, Elena has also studied with Dr. Wayne Dyer. Oh, I love Dr. Wayne Dyer.
Me too. Me
Bless
too.
his soul. Bob Proctor and countless others on top of her personal studies. So,
Yeah.
welcome to the show, the
Thank you.
Queen of Wands.
I have to have my little wand somewhere.
Yes, yes.
Oh,
And by the way, I would also love to bring Vienna Dunham, and because she wants to ask you a few questions. Also, Vienna is our emotion code practitioner. So, are you good with that?
yes, yes, definitely.
Yeah. So here's Vienna too. Yay! Okay.
Hey,
So let
We're
me make
together
you.
again.
Yes, yes.
there
So
again.
we're gonna make you the star of our show by putting you right here.
Oh,
Ah!
wow, that got big. Oh, that's good. Yeah.
This is cool, right? So tell us, Alena, for this audience, right? Can you share with them what is intuition?
Intuition is so funny because so many people use it in so many different ways. Intuition is, first of all, it's not something that is foreign. It is actually a gift of the spirit. The spirit gives us actually 6 gifts, and they work together. And as we grow in those gifts, they evolve. And that's intuition, imagination, perception, reasoning, the will, and I'm missing one: the will and reasoning and perception and imagination. Well, you have 5, and I forgot my 6. But anyway, there are 6 gifts. What did I do with that? I must have stuck it in my pocket and forgot. But this is the thing. When you get your intuition, and it starts out like like you walk into the room and it doesn't feel right. You get that little feeling in your stomach. Whoa, what's going on? And that's intuition. And the spirit our soul tries to talk to us in so many ways, saying, wait, think about this before you walk in, get yourself together. And meanwhile, we're ignoring it. So we just ignore it. We go bowling in like a bull in a china shop, and then things don't turn out right. We didn't listen. And it tries to talk to us in many ways. Now, when you start tapping in, you start to listen to the intuition part, and your perception starts to change that, wow, I got a pretty good intuition, and I get this. Then all of a sudden it starts to open the door to then hearing the soul. And starting to, as we heal and as we grow, the soul starts talking louder and louder. And that is us, guys. That is our higher self. That is consciousness. That is why do we want to be far from it? That's my question. Why?
Yes,
And
yes.
if it is us, and that soul can guide us because it knows. Why in the name of heaven would we say that's wrong? It's us.
Yeah, yeah. So that is beautiful. So can you share with us a little bit of your own experience? Like, how did you even get in touch with this intuition in your life, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, with now intuition, it was funny. I've always trusted my intuition.
Mhm.
Why? I don't know. I used to do a lot of singing, and I used to do conducting. So I was kind of in show business, sort of,
Mhm.
stage anyway. And I have to say, you tend to be a little more what they call superstitious anyway. But what
Mm,
you really are doing is you're tapping in, feeling, okay, why doesn't this song feel right? What am I not doing? Okay, my voice is not where it needs to be. It's something not right in the body. What's going on? You got to listen. And that just gets you into starting to listen to the intuition, and so I was already listening to the intuition, but when I started to want to learn more was when I was going through a difficult time in my life, and I thought, I really need this guidance. And it's funny, when you're going through a difficult time, the universe sends you tons of different things,
mhm,
signs and comfort and ways that are saying, we're with you, we're with you, we're with you. And if you're paying attention,
mhm,
you'll feel it. And it can be a miraculous little miracle in your life where you feel support and you feel love. And I
mhm.
have that. And when I
Good.
received that, I thought, oh my gosh, I'm not alone. I'm not
Oh,
going through this
good.
alone.
But
And
because you know how to lean into that, though, because some people, they're not listening, right? So
yeah,
they think their sicknesses or maybe a relationship dysfunction. Sometimes that is your trigger.
yeah.
Would you say some people are actually blocked from that? Like,
Yes.
what blocks other people from tapping into
People,
their
yeah,
full?
people are blocked. And that's the thing. Well, number one, half the time we don't believe it. We don't believe that there's something, we believe that there's something bigger, but we think it's too far from us.
Oh.
Do you see? And
Mhm.
really, it's so funny because it's really not. It's right there. And it's amazing. And it does care. And it does love us. We're all one energy. So it feels what we feel. We feel what it feels. We can feel the feelings of a mass group that we're in. If we're in a crowd of people, we can feel that feeling. Why do you think that is? Because we're connected. And so it's getting through the dogmas, you know?
Right.
The dogmas of what we've been taught as kids and in church and in a lot of places, school and parents, and, you know, just thinking, wait a minute, you know, maybe omnipresent really does mean omnipresent.
It's everywhere. Yeah, Vienna, go ahead and ask her questions if you have any specific ones that's coming up, because as we know, Vienna does emotion code.
Yeah.
She releases a lot of these trapped negative emotions that's holding us back, right? And the three of us shared that beautiful mastermind together, so it's perfect. We know each other very well. So go ahead, Vienna, if you have any questions for Alena.
I sure do.
Oh, good. Okay.
You've spoken about what buries that, because I think as babies we must still have it intact, you know. And then you mentioned dogma from our parents, our culture, religion, all these different things. And if I remember at age 17, I was just desperate to know what my purpose was. I was like, what was I born for? Where's my niche? And I felt like I didn't have any tools. So I wonder, it took me until my 40s to find that. So I'm wondering, what would you give and what would you tell people in my age that want to encourage our kids and grandkids? Like, I know how I find it. What tools can you recommend?
Oh my gosh, to find your purpose, and you're talking to teenagers. Is this correct? I want to get the scenario right. Okay. So I do. So I have 3 boys.
Okay.
So I'm right with you. And one's 21, one's 19, and one's 16.
Okay.
So we're right in that spot. And this is, you know, and every child is different. But really what I feel is the most important and how to tap in. I first of all, let it go. Oh God, just let it go.
What are we letting go, Alena?
Oh, worrying about it. You letting go of everybody, the pressure of everybody telling you, asking you, what are you going to do when you grow up? What are you going to do? Let it go. It doesn't matter, because the more you obsess about it, the more you put pressure on yourself, the more it's not going to come.
Brilliant.
And so you've got to let it go. And then feel free to start listening to your heart, your intuition. What is fun? What is fun to you? What do you feel talented in? What could you do all day and not feel like somebody, you know, you don't want anybody to interrupt you? And that is where that's going to start you on your journey of where your journey is. Your soul knows. Your soul knows. So what you're doing is you're just creating the freedom for it to speak to you. And it'll speak to you through that fun, through that focus, through that feeling good. And that's what we have to understand. You know, when I was 16, I decided my father wanted me to be a financial advisor like him. Or a doctor. There you go. Financial advisor, a doctor.
No pressure.
And, right. And so I remember telling him at the dinner table, I said, Dad, I've thought about this. And I really think that I have 3 loves. And he goes, okay. And I said, music, plants, and spirit. And he said, and his fork dropped. We had a lot of that in my teenage years. So then but you know what? This is the funny thing. I have done all 3.
Oh,
Love it.
oh yeah.
I
So
have allowed myself, I started out in music. I have worked a lot. I'm a bronze master gardener with plants.
nice.
And then when I finally felt brave enough to bring out my own spirituality and my knowledge of spirituality, then I finally took the dive into doing this.
Oh,
Oh, beautiful.
Isn't that something?
I've got another question then.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
a lot of teenagers, a lot of their experience is in the world of video games.
Oh,
So,
yes, I know.
you know,
I have one.
so like, how do we break that down for them? Because actually there's different skill sets in there. I'm guessing. I've never
I
thrived
have
as a
kids
gamer
that play
myself.
video games, so I know there's such a thing as strategy, right? They learn strategy through video games a lot.
There's a lot of cool things with video games. And it's funny, a lot of our kids who are playing video games aren't just playing our video games. It is important to know what your kids are listening to. And
Right.
because you learn a lot, not to restrict, because when they get to be 16, 17, good luck on that one, folks.
Right.
But listening to what they are listening to. And I'll tell you, it's funny. I found out my 16-year-old, we found out what an incredible writer he was. He had to write a profile for Dungeons and Dragons.
Okay.
They had to write a character profile.
Yeah.
Right.
And so he handed his to me. And I didn't even know what it was.
Right.
I knew Dungeons and Dragons, but I didn't know what you were doing with it. And
Right.
so then his older brother said it's only usually 3 paragraphs. This kid wrote 4 pages.
Oh,
And I started reading it and I said, is this the beginning of a book? Because this is really good. And he said, no, Mom, it's just the character. And I said, are you kidding me? Is this like a book of a character? What?
That's amazing.
So you can find that a lot of these games do bring out a talent, but it takes the parent
yeah.
to
Paying
bring it alive,
Okay.
because they get lost in the game.
Yeah.
And you need to show, instead of condemning them, start focusing on what that game is bringing out that they're really good at.
Excellent. Oh, thank you.
Their
That's
talent.
beautiful.
It's
Beautiful.
a different world, folks.
Yes.
It is. It's changed already, obviously.
So
So
we have to change too.
we have to change as adults as well, right? Because our kid worlds, I agree with all those because I live with them every single day and they are playing all the time.
I know.
It's like that's their world. And then if we don't know anything about that world, there's no reason for them to talk to us, really.
Not unless we try. And I'm always, and mine is always saying, Mom, really? And I say, yeah, I want to know. And I'm a pest, but I want to know. And I see that that's how they communicate with friends. Yeah. That's how they're gaining their social norms, believe it or not. You know, so it's a lot. And if I see something I don't like, my son was listening to a lot of stuff that was tearing down, programs that tear down. And we were sitting in the car and I said, honey, that's fine and dandy that they're using the critical mind. I said, but where's the solution? Where's the creativity? He goes, Mom, there isn't one. I said, but what are you left with? And I didn't say anything else. I just planted the seed.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah. So I think as parents now, we are on new terrain. And it's time to kind of look at that. But kids, if we go about it this way, they will naturally, that's the good thing, because they're not listening to teachers or anybody. They're listening to the computer. So if you give them a little bit of, you see their talents and point those out, my gosh, they'll soar. You know?
Wow.
They don't have anybody telling them they can't.
Exactly, that's it. Because it could be that our parents knew a different way. You know how even me being an entrepreneur, they're thinking, why don't you get a job, right? In the beginning. Again, it's a different generation. And then now we have our children in, again, a different generation exposed to all this video games. So
it's a different world.
My question to you, Alena, is tapping into their intuition difficult? So you told us, instead of worrying about our children, our parents, and everybody else around us, focus on ourselves first and then see what tapping into our intuition feels like. Is it really that difficult? Do we need years of self-development to make this happen?
Well, okay. Yeah. And thank you. That's a great question. So this is the thing. A lot of people say you can tap into your intuition, just, get you there. But your perception, your intuition is along with your perception. And if your perception is laden with all these old beliefs, with all these limitations, you will only get so high in your listening skill to your soul. If your soul says something that you don't understand, instead of seeking for more, you will shut it down. You won't go the whole mile because your belief system isn't there. So it's kind of, you have to, when I started to learn about my soul, I did a lot with shamans. Shamans taught me how to do it. And in order to do that, they worked from the chakras, the 7 chakras in your body. They didn't tell me that. I figured that out. But the bottom chakra, I did. The bottom chakra is your foundation. It's your whole house. You know that. And this is for your listeners and you. I know you know it. And they, but it's what you think of yourself and how you relate to the world. That's your foundation right there. And your second chakra are all the dogmas and do's and don'ts that prevent you from the beautiful pleasures you deserve in your life.
Yeah.
And it's the creativity and it's the sexual chakra. So that's fun right there. But it's also that creativity. It's fertile. It's blooming with ideas. It's bringing all the beauty out of us, That's the second chakra. So when you go through these chakras up to the heart, you're actually healing and changing. You're changing perceptions. You're changing, healing, all your little belief system that has been formed that's not right. And then by the time you get to the heart, you're open. Now, for today, though, and that's how I like to do it. Let's put it that way. Because then when I'm talking to my soul and I'm in the car and I say, "Are you there?" And I hear,
that's cute.
And I hear, "Of course, Alena, I am here." And it's like, oh my God. That's how it feels.
You're excited. You're excited.
You get so excited. The first time I heard it, I thought, oh my Lord, this is so cool. So, and that is guidance. I always know. And as far as finding your passion now, it's a piece of cake. Because the soul just directs you. I'm journaling, and before I know it, there's a guy at the end of the table who is a published author and says, "Hey, I'll help you with your book." Is that not the soul working its magic or not?
Yes.
That's how it starts happening. But if you want to tap into your intuition and you just want to test it out, I always say, and it's part of the first chakra when I teach the first chakra, so I'll get you started. Number 1, I want you to honor yourself. Ooh, and that's big for people. That brings up tons of stuff you just don't wish was there. But honoring yourself. Now, it's honoring yourself in a lot of ways. It's honoring yourself like, what are you listening to? What do you allow in your life? What are you feeding yourself? Yeah, I like my chocolate and sugar too, but I try not to do. And yeah, don't we all? But it's really starting to treating yourself like you would treat someone else you really loved. Starting to really honor. And the funny thing happens when you really start to honor yourself, and I work through all these different categories with you, not only does stuff come up like I'm not worthy, and then when you deal with that, but all of a sudden you naturally start listening to the stuff in your body. You start listening to little signs Spirit is telling you. You start to see signs the Spirit is sending you in the world. Right then and there, you're starting to tap into intuition. Right there.
Yeah, and I think people's major enemy on that is habits. You know, the
Yeah.
things that you're normally doing. Because I notice this a lot with certain even clients of mine, right? So a certain age group, they feel better, right? That's why they come for healing. But
Right.
then they start to complain, blame. I call that a self-sabotage tendency, but because it's a habit, they're so used to talking negatively, not only of themselves, but of others as well.
Yeah.
Maybe they're not hearing. So at that time, they're not really conscious, right? So
Right.
how can they actually get off that habit?
Yeah, and that is, you do. What did Jesus say once he healed someone? Do not sin anymore. And he didn't mean having alcohol. He meant having the same thoughts that got you into that problem.
Yes.
So if you have that critical mind, all right, and you
Yes.
don't even hear it, and I get it. You're talking to Miss Sarcasm of the century. And so I did not always hear it myself. But all of a sudden, as I started working with myself, I started weighing. One of the parts of even honoring yourself is a big thing. Okay. So one of them is how does it feel? You start to register, how does it feel when I'm talking that way? When I'm done talking, how does it feel on me? Does it feel heavy? We even talk about the weight of words.
Heavy and light. Yep.
Yeah, heavy and light. And so, and when I'm with a group of friends, how do I feel when I leave that group?
Mhm.
Do I
Hence,
feel
I leave us
really happy, or do I feel like I'm ready to start the day? I'm sorry?
when it doesn't feel good, it's just I either pay attention and let them know that that did not quite feel quite good to me, because I think for us, like I'm Asian, right? So we're not allowed to speak when we were younger, like to say something against an older person, your mother, your grandmother. So that was our culture in the past. And
Wow.
now, unfortunately, right, sometimes it's the older people that are negative in their words and habits, and it lands to you like it's almost like a slap in your face, but you have to like take it. So
Yeah.
then I make them aware that it wasn't quite okay to feel that way hanging out with them, or I give them a time. Actually, I give them a time limit when they're complaining and blaming and self-sabotaging.
Yeah.
I can say, you got 2 minutes and I need to go. I have another appointment. I can say that, right? Which is true. Appointment to myself. I cut it off that way, because if we are
Yeah.
part of that conversation, eventually it's almost like somebody dumping garbage on you. You're
It
like a
is.
dumpster, right? How
Yeah.
do you feel after, like you said?
Yeah.
Doesn't feel
What
good
do
to
you
me.
feel?
So I just
And
cut
see,
that off early.
and what you're talking about is having enough honor for yourself. You set up the boundaries.
Yes.
And we don't have to be so mean. My mom was very bad. And I remember, oh my God, she was horrid. My poor mom, and even when she was alive, I always use her as an example because she's a very good example. But she was very, very bad. And I would just, if we were on a phone call, I'd say, oh, Mom, I gotta go now. I love you very much. Or when she started, I'd say, oh, I gotta leave. I'm sorry. As soon as she would start in on that negativity, oh, I gotta go. Sorry. It took 3 times and she learned.
Yes.
Oh my
You have
goodness.
to be consistent with that.
Very consistent.
Response.
And they get it. It's like, oh, I pressed the wrong button. I don't get any food. You know, that's what you're doing. You're teaching them. If they talk to you that way, I gotta go.
Yep.
And it's nice, and you're loving, and you give them a kiss, but you're gone.
That's right.
And it's a wonderful way to do it. It did work. And for everyone, I think, yeah, it really does start. But see, before you did all this stuff on honoring yourself and learning about yourself and really treating yourself well and going through the stuff that comes up because of it, then we would have taken that. We would have taken that slap in the face. We would take being negative and awful and feeling awful all day. And then we start overeating. We start using alcohol a lot to
Drugs, whatever it is. Yep.
it is really because the foundation of your house is just screwed up.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
You know, So,
Yeah.
yeah. And do you think you can hear your soul then? No, you can't.
Right. The speaker's laying at the bottom of the pile of garbage.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh my
Speaker is
God.
laying at the garbage, right at the bottom of the garbage.
Oh my God.
So it's time. Of course, you change habits, and you talk about those habits. Are they beneficial or are they not?
Mm-hmm.
And if getting a latte every day is not beneficial to you, then you don't. It's not that you don't have a latte. It's
Yeah.
that you have maybe just a couple times a week.
That could be a reward, right? Like you did a great job about something.
Yeah,
And
or you just are going to relax. You just did
yeah.
a big presentation and you just want to go relax or something. Sure, but not every day. And
Right.
and that's what it's all about. What is helping you? What is not? What is making you a wonderful vessel to be guided and to live this life and the purpose that you are supposed to live here. And by the way, we don't have just one purpose.
Mhm.
You
Yes.
know, we have the whole reason why our soul is here. And I say 95% of this population does not even live that part. Why the soul even came to this world.
Yeah. Yeah. Only
It's
a
really, we owe it to ourselves to start tapping in.
So
Mhm.
I've got another question for you,
Yeah.
given what you're describing there. And so I didn't even begin to tap into that until I was 43, as I said. And then it started out, my hands could hear. I was doing massage and I had no training. I was just helping friends and family. And my brain had no knowledge to contribute. And so it sat down. And then my hands could hear. And Vivian, it's like a little puppy, and you just tell it, sit, your brain, sit right here, sit, stay. And you get to control it instead of it controlling you. So I wanted to ask you, Alena, to speak to, let's say somebody's in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, whatever, and feels like I've missed my whole life being able to do this. What kind of encouragement can you give for them that it's not too late? Start now, and the time can be redeemed. What would
That's so funny you said that. I was just doing a workshop with Dr. Vargas here in Fort Wayne on healing. And I was just talking to women in their late 40s, 50s, and even late 50s. Some had retired, or some were divorced, or all the kids had grown. And they're all looking for, they're just, oh God, they just feel this immense pressure to try to understand. And they feel like it's too late. But what they don't understand is that it's the most perfect time.
Mm-hmm.
This is the time, because you get to focus on you. You have done it. You have given and given and given. And now it's you. And it's a discovery. And it's a fun discovery. It's something that every little place that you go, every step you take, every new awareness, it's not work. It's like opening up a flower.
Yes. Yes. It's beautiful. It's magical.
It's magical. It is the most perfect time. And also you tend to be a little more open, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Because I think we just get sick of the freaking rules.
Exactly. I was thinking, that was my word.
We get to create our own rules, right?
Yes, it's time. And it's so much fun. And so I think that's what I think is the most incredible. And by the way, you are not done. You are not. I've talked to so many men, because I'm on the dating scene, and they always say to me, somebody might relate to this. So are you ever going to retire? And I say, and to a woman who has already done so much, you know, it's like, I'm finally on my own. I'm finally living my life. And you say, I got me alone. And you want me to go and get up every morning with the same routine, sit there and watch the sunset every night, and I would go nuts. I would go, you would not love me.
So I think let me enlighten people on that, right? So there are two types of people. I learned this from one of my teachers. His name is Dr. Uwe Albrecht. He taught us Inner Wise, and he has a deck of cards that I use when I really want to go deep into life. So he said to me that there are two types of people. There's the donut. You know how a donut is? Think of a chocolate donut, right? It's flat, it's horizontal, and you only go in circles.
Yes.
And some people, he said, make money, make a lot of money, and they're happy being a donut.
Yeah.
Everything in their life is rinse and repeat. Now, if you're a Taurus, so that means you have a vertical climb, so to speak, like Taurus, right? You know how that nice, beautiful light, right?
Yeah.
If you are a Taurus, you can never live your life like a donut. And I remember I was living my life both ways because I was doing my doTERRA essential oils, which is spiritual, right? To me,
right?
Because I could connect the chakras and the healing and all that. But at the same time, on the structure, they want me to rinse and repeat. Like just do this
hard.
at that time, right? At that time when I joined. And I was okay the first few years until I had to step out of it because I felt like a donut. Yeah. And I can never be a donut because I always evolve. Like for people that know me, I've changed from a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 6 years. I've changed, right? They don't even know. Even my mother said, I don't even know who you are anymore because she couldn't make me do what she wanted me to do anymore. Does this make sense?
Mother, I do. I'm there with you, hon.
Yes. So if you're a Taurus, you cannot do activities like a donut. No. You're going to die. He said to me, if you keep on doing a rinse and repeat in your life, you're going to die. Yeah. So you need to get out of that as soon as possible. And it stuck to me like, it's like a lightning bolt, right? Like I can't do that. No. Like I can't go flipping back and forth, in life because guess what? The thought in my head a long time ago was I need to feel loved and accepted by these people that I love. Yeah. And they knew me as a certain person. Yes. Yeah. So until I had this courage to be me, kind of unusual, right? Different. That became that spiritual path, that Taurus. So I can relate to what you said. You can't, like they think of you, oh, you're a certain age, you're supposed to retire. Like,
what are you talking about? That's crazy. That's just crazy. But this is the thing.
When I leave this planet, bye-bye.
And I know there are a lot of people out there, especially women, who I don't want to grow old alone. I don't want to be on my path. And okay, whoa, you're way ahead. Stop. Because you don't know what your purpose is. And your purpose doesn't mean you're going to start this multi-million-dollar business and that's where you're going to be. That's not necessarily. Your purpose could be something a lot simpler. It could be having a hobby that just fills you up. It could be keeping a journal that turns into a book. It can be telling stories or just serving people in such incredible ways, or children. That your purpose can be so many things if you open it, that you can have that wonderful man with you too. And the other thing is, when you're living your purpose and you're guided by your soul, there is a specialness in your light. That's where your light is allowed to shine. That's the light that has compassion and higher understanding and wants that real deep love. Not that superficial love, that gamey love, right? But that real deep love. And isn't that what we truly want? Yeah. We owe it to ourselves to start open, especially when in the later years.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So I just want to share with you guys some of the audiences that are present, right? Yeah. So Teddy Nove was here. She had to leave early, but she said, I also heard that important decisions we need to make from our strategy and authority, not from our brain. Yes, that's so true.
Yeah.
Shifra said, amen. I never understood the parents who freak out over video games.
It's a waste of time.
Yes. And then she also mentioned, OMG, Vienna, I just had a huge awakening. My hands have always talked and told me I never, even though that I would touch people when I was younger, like a light massage, rub their back, and I was known as healing hands. Oh,
very
beautiful.
Right. Okay.
That's beautiful.
And then Lisa said, I use the Power of Eight Intention group to help people tap into miracles from their intentions, bring together to help transform others. Yeah, Lisa is
very nice,
also
Lisa.
a hypnotherapist, and she's a healer. She's been one of my students for a while, together with her husband, Mark, and it's so cool. Shifra said, I am not a donut.
Good for you. Good for you.
Good for you, Shifra. You are not a donut. I know. Because
no.
She is not. I can attest to that.
No way.
Oh,
that's so cute.
It's fun having all these people. So for those interested in hearing their own soul, how do we contact you?
I think the very best way is to look at soulmanifesto.com. And depending on where you are in your path and what you really want to learn, I know a lot of people want to start tapping in so that they're guided totally. And then others want to really go all the way to the divine. If you want that, then when you get onto Soul Manifesto, you contact me on the contact page. If you are just one who wants to train those thoughts and start tapping into the creativity of the soul, then we have programs for you. And that one is Inevitable You. But if you love discussions like this, and I have a group on Thursday night, it's free. You can sign up for that. And that would be fun. I would love to hear you.
Oh, yeah, that would be so much fun. Oh, my God. So you can see how you look at Alena, how beautiful her energy is. It's very light. It's very welcoming. And you really want to be in a place wherein you surround yourself with people like this, right? Because the more you're able to, maybe you have some negative thoughts, and our mind is very, very noisy. As soon as you wake up in the morning, look at it. Like, what am I going to do today? Oh, am I going to exercise? Am I going to walk? Am I going to eat this or eat that? And I go, okay, shh.
Yeah.
I breathe, and then I walk outside, do some nature walk. I have to calm my mind. It's a practice.
We all do. We all do.
Because I mean, especially if you're sleeping with somebody beside you, who knows if their brain is busy, if their mind is busy. Does this make sense?
Yes.
That's why Vienna loves being in her own place, because she's like, this is my space. Leave me alone.
Nobody's
I can wake up without their energy. But I do love my energy.
If I'm not charged up, it's on me.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's fun.
So much fun, you guys.
Well, we all need to. We all need that. It was so much fun being with you.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So thank you, Alena, again.
Thank you.
And Vienna, thank you. This is
I hope to see people.
Maybe on your own TV show next time, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, you're already, you know.
Okay.
Both of you are on one or the other.
Well, thank you again so much, everyone. And I hope to see you again next week on our next episode called My Spiritual GPS. So stay tuned next time for another beautiful episode at 12 p.m. Pacific time. Bye for now.